The wrestling world exploded when footage leaked showing Becky Lynch and Paul Heyman locked in an intimate backstage embrace that nobody saw coming. This wasn't a scripted segment, this wasn't planned for television, and this certainly wasn't something anyone expected to witness between the fierce Irish warrior and the legendary advocate. Before we dive into every shocking detail of what transpired behind those curtain walls, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss any of the explosive developments coming from this story. The incident occurred late Tuesday night after a live event in Detroit when crew members were breaking down equipment in the backstage area. According to multiple sources who were present, Becky Lynch had just finished a grueling match and was heading toward the talent lounge when she ran into Paul Heyman near the production trucks. What started as what appeared to be a casual conversation quickly escalated into something far more intense as witnesses described the two moving closer together and speaking in hushed tones that suggested this wasn't their first private conversation. Eyewitnesses report that the exchange between Lynch and Heyman lasted approximately 15 minutes before things took their shocking turn. The man was dressed in her typical post-match attire while Heyman was in his signature suit, and both seemed completely unaware that several crew members had a clear line of sight to their location. The conversation appeared heated at first, with both parties gesturing animatedly, but the energy shifted dramatically as they moved into a more secluded corner behind the equipment trucks. What happened next left everyone who witnessed it completely stunned. Lynch and Heyman suddenly embraced, and what followed was an unmistakable kiss that lasted several seconds. Multiple sources confirmed this wasn't a friendly peck on the cheek or some kind of European greeting but a full romantic kiss that left no room for interpretation. The crew members who saw this unfold immediately began whispering among themselves, with phones being pulled out to capture what was happening, though security quickly intervened before any footage could be recorded. The timing of this revelation couldn't be more complicated given the current landscape of professional wrestling. Becky Lynch has been one of the most prominent faces in the industry, known for her fierce independence and her high-profile marriage to fellow wrestler Seth Rollins. The couple has been considered one of wrestling's power pairs, publicly supporting each other through career highs and lows, making this backstage incident all the more shocking to those who know them personally. Paul Heyman's role in this situation raises even more questions. The wise man has spent decades building a reputation as the ultimate manipulator and strategic genius, someone who always has an angle and never makes a move without careful calculation. His current position as the advocate for major talent means he holds significant influence within the company, and any personal relationship with someone of Lynch's stature could have serious implications for backstage politics and future storylines. Sources close to the situation reveal that this wasn't an isolated incident. Several talent members have come forward anonymously stating they noticed unusual interactions between Lynch and Heyman dating back several months. One wrestler mentioned seeing them having private conversations in empty hallways during events, while another noticed them leaving venues separately but within minutes of each other on multiple occasions. These observations were dismissed at the time as mere coincidence, but this latest development has people reconsidering everything they witnessed. The fallout from this incident began almost immediately within the wrestling community. Word spread through the locker room like wildfire, with talent members divided on how to process what they were hearing. Some dismissed the reports as exaggerated gossip or a potential work designed to create buzz, while others insisted that multiple reliable sources confirmed the authenticity of what transpired. The uncertainty and speculation created an atmosphere of tension that persisted throughout the following day's events. Seth Rollins was reportedly backstage during a different event on the same night, completely unaware of what was unfolding hundreds of miles away. Sources indicate that he learned about the incident through a phone call from a fellow wrestler who felt he needed to know what was being discussed. His immediate reaction remains unknown as those close to him have remained tight-lipped about his response, though several people noted he seemed distracted and troubled during his scheduled appearances the following day. The relationship dynamics involved in this situation extend beyond just the individuals directly involved. Paul Heyman's professional relationships with various top stars means this incident could affect multiple ongoing storylines and future plans. His role as a trusted confidant to management and talent alike puts him in a unique position where personal scandals could have ripple effects throughout the entire organization. Several wrestlers have expressed concern about how this might impact their own working relationships with Heyman moving forward. Becky Lynch's career trajectory makes this situation even more complex. She fought incredibly hard to reach the top of the industry, breaking through barriers and establishing herself as a legitimate main event star. Her authenticity and connection with fans have been central to her success, and any perceived betrayal of that authenticity could damage the relationship she's built with her audience. The wrestling community has always been quick to judge personal controversies, and female performers often face harsher criticism than their male counterparts. The corporate response to this incident has been notably absent. Company officials have refused to comment on what they're calling private matters between individuals, though sources within management suggest there have been emergency meetings to discuss potential ramifications. The legal department has reportedly been consulted about privacy concerns and potential harassment claims, as the company wants to ensure they're protected regardless of how this situation evolves. Behind the scenes, there's intense speculation about whether this incident will be addressed on television. Wrestling companies have a long history of incorporating real-life controversies into their programming, blurring the lines between reality and fiction to generate interest. Some creative team members have allegedly pitched ideas for how to use this situation as fuel for storylines, though others argue that doing so would be exploitative and potentially damaging to everyone involved. The psychological impact of this revelation on those involved cannot be understated. Professional wrestling requires maintaining both public personas and private lives, with performers constantly navigating the boundary between the two. When those boundaries collapse, as they appear to have done in this situation, the emotional toll can be severe. Friends of both Lynch and Heyman have expressed concern about their well-being, noting that the intense scrutiny and judgment from the wrestling community can be overwhelming. Several veteran performers have weighed in on the situation, offering perspectives based on their own experiences with backstage drama and personal controversies. Many emphasize that the wrestling business creates unique pressures and circumstances that outsiders cannot fully understand. The constant travel, the emotional intensity of the work, and the close relationships formed between performers can lead to complicated situations that don't fit neatly into conventional moral frameworks. The fan reaction to this news has been explosive and divided. Social media platforms erupted with discussions, theories, and opinions about what this means for everyone involved. Some fans expressed disappointment and anger, feeling betrayed by performers they've supported for years. Others urged caution, arguing that jumping to conclusions based on limited information is unfair and potentially harmful. The debate has highlighted the intense parasocial relationships that exist between wrestling fans and performers. Marketing experts have noted that this controversy comes at a particularly sensitive time for the industry. Several major events are scheduled in the coming months, and any negative publicity could impact ticket sales and viewer interest. However, others argue that controversy has historically been good for wrestling business, with scandals often leading to increased attention and curiosity from casual fans. The challenge for the company is navigating this situation in a way that doesn't alienate their core audience while potentially capitalizing on the increased interest. The implications for future creative directions are significant. Becky Lynch's character work has always incorporated elements of her real personality, and fans will now view her performances through the lens of this controversy. Similarly, Paul Heyman's on-screen persona as a master manipulator takes on new dimensions when fans believe there's real-life drama happening behind the scenes. The line between reality and performance becomes even more blurred, creating both opportunities and challenges for storytellers. Personal relationships within the wrestling business have always been complicated by the unique demands of the profession. The industry requires spending more time with coworkers than with family, forming intense bonds that can sometimes cross professional boundaries. Many wrestling marriages have survived similar challenges, while others have crumbled under the pressure. The support systems available to performers during personal crises vary widely, with some companies offering counseling and resources while others maintain a hands-off approach to personal matters. The power dynamics involved in this situation deserve careful consideration. Paul Heyman's position of influence within the company creates questions about whether any relationship with talent could truly be equal or consensual given the inherent power imbalance. These concerns have become increasingly prominent in discussions about workplace conduct across all industries, and professional wrestling is no exception. The company's handling of this situation could set important precedents for how similar incidents are addressed in the future. As this story continues to develop, more information will inevitably emerge. People close to the situation suggest that what has been revealed so far represents only a fraction of the full story, with additional details potentially coming to light in the days and weeks ahead. The wrestling community remains intensely focused on every new development, analyzing social media posts and public appearances for any hints about what's really happening behind the scenes. The human element of this story shouldn't be lost amid all the speculation and judgment. Real people are dealing with real consequences, navigating complex emotions and difficult decisions while under intense public scrutiny. Regardless of what actually transpired or what the full truth turns out to be, lives have been affected and relationships have been tested in ways that will have lasting impacts on everyone involved. This shocking development represents one of the most talked about backstage incidents in recent wrestling history, joining a long list of controversies that have captivated fan attention over the years. Whether this situation ultimately fades into forgotten history or becomes a defining moment that changes careers and relationships remains to be seen. What's certain is that the wrestling world will be watching closely as this story continues to unfold, eager for answers and hungry for the truth behind what really happened between Becky Lynch and Paul Heyman that night in Detroit. If you want to stay updated on all the latest developments in this explosive situation and other breaking wrestling news, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.